Hi guys, this is Jamie. I want to welcome you to my channel today. Today is Mother's Day, so I thought I would get on and show you guys this book. It's called Mom's Daily Life by Damita Victoria. And if I have a chance, I will do kind of a coloring chat. We'll just kind of see how things go after I do the flip through. Here is the back side of this book. And this book does have duplicate images. And we have the start here. Our typical book belongs to page, and the coloring tips stuff. All of the little coloring tips. Part 1. So this starts the pages. And the faces and the skin are kind of a little bit grayscaled, but the rest of it's pretty much just line work. If you hear things in the background, it's just my daughter. She's playing her video games behind me or watching videos. Some backgrounds aren't as busy as others. I haven't decided which page I want to color. They're all very fun pages of moms. I like this one, but it's like really plain in the background. And this one's really cute too. And that one's fun. Look at the little kitties down here. She's on the phone and he's playing with a little toy. Don't we all feel like this? Mom's trying to talk on the phone. She has her drink and the little child is sticking their hand in the cup. Baking. This is a very clean form of baking. Usually when I bake with the kids, it's not this clean. And then this one. And then it goes into the part 2. So, I am thinking, it's really hard to decide, but I'm thinking I want to color this page right here. And so I decided to do a voice recording over the coloring portion here, just because I wanted to speed up the coloring. Because after I recorded it, I looked at the time and I noticed that I had colored for over 45 minutes. So I thought I would just speed up the coloring and do a voiceover. So this is the page that I decided to color. I thought that this would be perfect Mother's Day picture of a mom reading a story to her daughter. I think that this picture is very similar to like me and my daughter. I always have my hair pulled back like this mom. I'm pulling out my skin tone here. And my daughter's hair is about this length. So yeah, my daughter's about 6 years old. So I thought that this would be a good picture. So I am going to be using the Spree alcohol markers, but there wasn't a good skin tone that I wanted to use in the Spree set, so that's why I pulled the Cali Art Barely Beige skin tone marker. That is one of my favorite markers to use for skin tones in the Cali Art set. You can get it both in the brush and in the regular set. And as you can see me coloring, when you color on pages that have black backing and you use a light color, it looks really dark. Don't worry about it. Once it dries, it will dry the color of the marker that you're trying to use. I remember the very first time I colored a picture with a black backing. It was in a Jade Summer book. And when I put the color down, I was like, did I screw up? What happened to my paper? I was really, really freaking out. And I kind of had to learn that it's okay if once it dries, it will be fine. It's like a magic thing. It will dry the way you want it to. As you can see, the head of the mom is already turning the color that we want. But if you're a beginning colorist and you get one of these books and you put down your marker and you think, oh my gosh, look what has happened to the skin. It's just because the marker is still wet. And it actually is a good indicator to let you know that the marker is still wet. Once it dries like beautiful, then you know that it's no longer wet. So that's a good thing. So yeah, this book when it went on Amazon, the introductory price was $5.99. I think it's gone up now, but I thought, oh, that would be a perfect Mother's Day book, and I decided, okay, I think I have a little bit of time. I will color this in this book for Mother's Day and post it. I'm using this Bic Ultrafine for the eyebrows because I didn't want it to bleed out really bad onto the skin. One of the problems I think with this particular line art is it's so thin that the bleed out of the marker gets out of the lines, and so you have to be really careful when coloring. I'm using this water-based felt tip pen. I think this is an Amazon Basics, or it could be a Pen and Gear. Just for the lips, it's just a light pink color, just because I didn't want it to bleed into the teeth. And I think I'm going to use that color as well for the fingernails, because I didn't want anything too like poppy, because I didn't want it to look like they were wearing lipstick necessarily, just a darker skin color. I'm going in right here with kind of like a reddish yellow color. I think it's I don't know the color. It's like a darker goldenrod, I believe. But this is a spree marker. And I'm just trying to be really careful. It's going to go down darker, just like when we did the skin. But yeah. I hope everyone is having a good Mother's Day and having a good day. My kids made me a couple things through school for Mother's Day, my younger kids. My son made this, like he colored some flowers and cut them out, and then he made this pot on like a piece of paper. It's like a half of a pot, and put the flowers in it, and on the pot it says, "Mommy, I love you because," and I think that's where the kids are supposed to write a reason they love their mom. And my son, being special needs, he didn't write a reason. He just wrote his name 1,000 times. So that was fun. But he is a really good colorist, so it's fun to look at all of his little colorings. And then my daughter, she brought me a card from school, and she brought me a rock, and the rock was painted purple, and it had googly eyes on it. And the card said, "Mommy, you rock." So that's kind of a fun idea. And they did that in the kindergarten classroom. So yeah. This will dry a little bit lighter, the hair color, but for the most part, that's pretty much the color that I put down. So it's more like a reddish blonde color, more leaning to the red color. My daughter has reddish blonde hair, so that's why I kind of went for that color. I have more like a golden blonde kind of color, so it's not as red. So I'm gonna do my best and do it with this color and see how it works out. I'm trying to be really careful because I don't want it to bleed outside the line work, being this thin line work. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like Mother's Day is just another day when you have little kids and they don't quite understand, and they still need you just as much as they need you the other days. I think it's just a day that helps you remember all the wonderful blessings that you get from being a mother and all the wonderful blessings that you get for having a mother in your life. Whether that be a grandmother, a mother, an aunt, a neighbor that's like a mother figure, any kind of type of mother. I'm fortunate that I actually have my mom, and what a tremendous blessing she is in my life. She's always been there for me and my children. She's a very good grandma. I'm using that lighter pink to do the fingernails there. And as you notice, I'm just doing straight coloring here. I'm not doing any shading or anything. I just didn't feel like doing it. Normally, I'm like way into shading and blending and adding extra details and all about that kind of stuff. But today I just wanted to take the easy approach and do some straight coloring with my markers. Before I chose this pink shade that I'm doing, I actually asked my daughter, "What's your favorite color?" And she said pink. And so that's why I chose the pink for the little dress that this little girl is wearing. And I have already posted the finished page of this on my Instagram account. So if you guys are curious of what the finished page looks like, it is on Instagram. So you can check that out. Damita Victoria actually, the company actually liked my picture and commented, and they highlighted it for the day, and I feel very privileged that they chose my picture for Mother's Day. It was very nice of them. And I thought it was just a very basic picture. Sometimes basic and simple is really good. This picture reminds me of reading bedtime stories to your kids. Maybe this little girl's wearing a nightgown and the moms are in pajama top or something. And it makes me think, what kind of storybooks did you guys used to read with your mom or dad, or when you were a kid? And what were your favorites? Some of my favorites that I can remember right off the bat were Curious George. And if you don't know who Curious George is, it's a story about a little monkey. I think it's an English story. And he gets into mischief and things like that. And another really popular one that I remember is the Dr. Seuss books. A lot of people know Dr. Seuss, especially if you have. Oh, that's cute. Wow, my daughter's talking to me.
We had this game, but Ethan lost it. Now we can't find it anymore.
Oh, we'll have to look. Yeah, Dr. Seuss was a pretty popular one when I was growing up to read, and those are just fun. Like Hop on Pop and Cat in the Hat and things like that. I really like fairy tale books as well, to learn about Snow White and the Seven Dwarves and, all those type of things. And we had storybooks that, like, the school would give to us, and our parents would read to us those books, and we'd flip through them ourselves as well. So it's very, very good thing to read to your kids. I think with this particular book, I'm going to make it yellow, like a Curious George book, because that was the first book I thought of when I saw this picture. I just think that was just a wonderful story. I also really enjoy the Winnie the Pooh stories, the classic Winnie the Pooh stories. A lot of us know Winnie the Pooh from the films, but if you ever have read the classic Winnie the Pooh little storybooks, they're adorable. So, yeah. And of course, yellow is my signature color. I always add yellow to almost every coloring I do, so it was very appropriate for me to put yellow on this storybook. I actually am not going to finish this whole picture on camera. I just wanted to kind of hop on and show you guys kind of a little bit of a coloring and have you guys enjoy a little bit of a color and chat. Like I said, the original video, it was just so long that I decided to speed it up and make it a little easier. I think I'm going to do the window, and then after that I end the thing, but I do the most of the part. Come here, honey. Most of it. So when you're doing these big sections with alcohol markers, the trick is just to keep it wet and keep going. You don't want to stop, because if you stop, that's when the lines get created. So basically the trick with alcohol markers is just to keep going and keep that moisture. And this is the nice thing about having that black background paper, or the black backing side. With it being darker, you can see that it's wet, which also helps you know that, okay, it's still wet, I can still keep going. If it has already dried and is the lighter shade, you're going to know that that's going to create a line. And it just takes practice. I remember my very first picture I did with alcohol markers. Man, I had so many lines and there were so many bleed outs, and I was like, how do people like these so much? Because they're just bleeding out, they're leaving lots of weird lines, and if I try to go over it, it creates different shades. It was just like a mess. But after time, you kind of like learn what not to do, and after time it makes it a little easier. Honey, you're okay.
No, you hurt me feelings.
You're all right, honey. So, yeah, the trick with alcohol markers is just to keep practicing. When I'm using this Bic marker to do the window here, or the window trim, it does bleed out into that blue a little bit. because the blue was slightly still wet. If you put two colors next to each other and they're wet, they'll bleed into each other. So you have to watch out for that as well. After I'm actually done doing this, you won't see this on camera, but I actually take a black micron pen and go over the lines of the window seals and stuff, just so that it looks a little more cleaned up and polished. And I think I even go over the clothing of the little girl and the mom, just so that it cleans up. But this is how much I'm going to get done, and I want to thank you guys for watching, and check out the finished one on Instagram. This is the finished picture. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.